Hi. Okay, so welcome. Um, so mindfulness is quite a cornerstone of our Wiggle Bums and Wiggle Kids classes. It's yoga, mindfulness, and meditation. And really, the upshot of mindfulness is about being present in the present moment. But it's also about recognizing what you're feeling in the present moment, what's really going on for you, and allowing yourself to go there, allowing yourself to be authentic in that moment. And for the children, it's really important to be able to name what they're feeling, what they are experiencing, and practice that art of being able to stay in contact with what's happening right here, right now, in all of its gory glory, if you like, and just allowing oneself to feel all of that. And it's something that's been conditioned out of us as children. And it's something that we do to our own children, because it's what we've learned. It's how we've learned to be. Because we've all had that experience, haven't we? That our big emotions, those times of real struggle, that the tantrums in the supermarkets, we've been there as children where they could not be handled by our significant other, our mum, our dad, our older siblings. And our feelings, our times of struggle, I'm sure many of you can relate, were stopped through lots of different various methods when the significant other couldn't handle that. So with chocolate biscuits, distraction techniques, from, being separated from the rest of the family, being put on the naughty step or the thinking step, or in the bedroom, being chastised, told off, belittled, shouted at, and even slapped. Because the significant other wasn't skilled enough to handle or have the tools to help us move through those difficult moments in our lives. We weren't taught how to handle that. We weren't taught, our parents weren't taught how to handle any of that stuff. We were taught really by those kind of methods that who we are in our times of despair is too much. We're unlovable. We're not likable. We're not good enough. We're not doing enough. We're not behaving in a particular way. We're not. We're criticized, and all of that stuff becomes our inner voice, our inner judgment, and our inner critic as we grow older. And we learn to suppress it. We learn to hide it. We learn to distract from it, and not feel those feelings or voice that upset, because we think we will get told off for it. And so we do that thing where we think, oh, we have to think positive. We have to think positive and put our face on and crack on with life. But it's all kind of in there, isn't it? Bubbling away, and it comes out at all these kind of inopportune moments, when really what we needed in that moment was to be held and looked after and seen as somebody who was struggling with big, deep emotions and didn't have the skills or the vocabulary to share it in the time. But our significant others weren't taught that. They didn't have those skills up their sleeves to be able to be what we needed them to be in that moment. So I suppose that's why with Wiggle Bums and Wiggle Kids we have such a big foundation in mindfulness practice and awareness practice, and what it means to hold space for somebody who's struggling, whether they're an adult or their children. Because I just think that it's going to be an absolutely different landscape when we stand in that place of true authenticity, and we help our children be able to name the feelings or the emotions that they're going through and be able to sit with that. Because it's really interesting that when we give our children the space, the support, the guidance, we have some language to use, we have a skill, a toolbox that we can use and apply, a healthy toolbox that we can use and apply with our children. They move through these difficult feelings and situations really quite quickly. They move through it and clear it, and they're not stashing it. Because when we're not given the space to feel those feelings and to experience what it isn't allowed to be felt and acknowledged and understood, it gets stuck. It gets stuck and we hoard it, and then it gets played out and triggered as we move into our adult selves, and our little 3-year-old self can get triggered and suddenly we're in a tantrum mode, or our 14-year-old self can get triggered and we're in sabotage mode. And all of these kind of coping strategies that we took on as children to help us get through those difficult situations start to play out. And it's not necessarily something that we want to have happen at the age of 28 or 34 or 44. But there are ways to go back and heal and clear all of that. We've got quite an extensive toolbox in our positive parenting course, which at the moment's free. You can just sign up. It's an online course and there's lots of tools in there. It's quite a juicy toolbox. There's EFT tapping in there that you can do on yourself and teach your children. So when they're in some kind of emotional distress or they're upset, you can start tapping together, and it just helps ground and disengage the emotion from what's happening, so that you can kind of move through that a lot quicker and easier and not hold on to all of that stuff. And there's some lovely NLP for kids in there, and just some real insight and wisdom about being a parent and understanding that we didn't know what we didn't know, and that's okay. And to, we can all be carrying that mum guilt, that parent guilt about what we've done and what we should have done differently, but we didn't know what we didn't know. And so it's about being gentle with ourselves on that level and understanding that, and being able to draw a line on that, and hold ourselves in that, and be that which we wanted when we were little. And so, yeah, mindfulness, self-awareness, digging in to your line of self-inquiry as a parent, as a human, is a really important process. And so, yeah, have a little look on our Wigglebums website. It's under online courses. It's a positive parenting course. You can join. It's free at the moment, and it just might take that edge off that you might be experiencing, or just give you some new tools, new language to use day to day. Anyway, lovely to see you all and to speak with you all, and I'll see you again soon.